this to the cloud. Okay. Happy Thursday. If you have gratitude or any shout outs that you want to share with the group, this would be the time to do it. Just pop your hand up um, and let us know. And I'll take just a few seconds to see if anyone has anything that they want to share with the group before we get started. Cool. Not all at once, though. I know gratitude's up there. I'm going to start calling on people, though. So, All right, Alex, what are you grateful for this morning, or what shout out do you have?
Yay, I want to give gratitude to Zane. He helped me yesterday when I was trying to figure out some pricing stuff. I'm leveling up in all areas since the move. And so he was very gracious in helping me with that. And then shout out as well to Kate on my team, who has just been killing it with bringing in referrals lately. So I wanted to give her a shout out.
Super, super fabulous. I love that. Love that. Yay, Zane, and yay, Kate, and yay, Alex. I love it. I think I saw a hand. Kate, did I see your hand? All right, you gotta go.
You did, but I was going to say the exact same thing that Alex just said. And thanks, Zane. So he gets a double shout out today.
Double shout outs. I'm all about it. All right, Kevin. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I've already shouted him out once, but since he's on the call, I wanted to just give Brian Williams a shout out on our team here in Houston. He actually brought me onto the place and introduced me to place when I was getting licensed. And even before that, helped me buy 2 duplexes here in College Station. So really was a pivotal person in getting me to join the team. And so I just wanted to give him a shout out.
That is awesome. That's sweet. Very cool. Brian, great job. We are all building wealth together, right? So I love it. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Couple things. Next week, May 8th. Anybody know what's coming up on May 8th? Brouchard. Yes, thank you, Brendan Brouchard. I was so excited. I thought it was this week. I put it on our team meeting slide that it was this week. And I'm like, why isn't anybody talking about it? It's because it's next week, guys. So May 8th, Don't Quit with Brendan Brouchard. The access that we have to Brendan is unprecedented. So that is awesome and wild, and we should totally do it. So I'm excited about that, and you should be excited about that. Jump on May 8th. Is that, I don't know what even day that is, but I think it's a great day. Probably Tuesday or Wednesday or one of those days. There we go. I get a head nod from Delby. And then those of you who did the 30 open house challenge, make sure that you are updated, that you have something coming up later this month. So check your emails, check our happy place, all that fun stuff. Cool? All right. I am going to share my screen here in a second, and we're going to get started if that's okay with you. And let's see what we're going to do for that. Here we go. And who can I make co-host? Who's responsible to make sure that people are muted? Who would like that responsibility? DJ would like that responsibility. DJ's been around a long time. Okay, just in case anybody is not behaving, just mute them. No, everybody behaves around here. We're just excited, right? It's a Thursday. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get started. And this slide deck will be available to you, so you don't have to worry. You don't have to stress too much. Just listen in. So last week I attended a conference in New York City. And there's a few things that I thought, man, you know what? I think they're good to share with our people, especially as things are rapidly changing. So back in the day, Ben Kinney would say this thing. He would say, be careful who your prophets are. Profits with a PH. You want to be sure that the people that you're listening to have actually had the success that you want to achieve. So when you open up, your Instagram or your TikTok, and there's all of these real estate influencers. There's so many real estate influencers right now. Yet we know that, especially in our area, for example, Austin, the average agent sells 4.1 homes a year, right? I'm sure it's not that much different in your area, wherever you're calling in from this morning. 4.1 homes sold a year is the average, right? Like, that's not directly who you probably aspire to be. So be careful who you are listening to, because they may not be making enough to live on. So with all the changes in the industry, everyone's starting to put in their 2 cents. Have you noticed that, right? And everyone's acting like the expert, which it's not bad to collaborate and to learn from others. Just be careful who you're taking advice from, right? So business profits will equal your business profits. Just know like who you listen to determines how you get to do business, right? So everyone in the room last week at that conference in New York City sold 200 million or more in a year. So I felt like those takeaways would be valid for us. So let me go ahead and start with this. We had the CEOs of some of the biggest companies out there and some of the top coaches in the industry. The resounding message was this: the market will discipline those that fail to discipline themselves. The market will discipline those that fail to discipline themselves. And I thought, oh my God. And it was not a work ethic thing. It wasn't a work ethic thing. I mean, it could be like, it could be a work ethic thing for you. If you're not putting in the work, if you're not working, 40 plus hours, like if you're not treating it like a full-time job, if you're not the boss of your business and you're not putting in the work, I mean, that is a problem, right? But oftentimes that's not necessarily the problem because people feel like they're working. The problem is that they may be working on the wrong things. So Barbara Corcoran, she was often talking about not hiring rich kids or people who had someone supporting them because they don't realize that the most important part of business is driving a profit, right? And obviously being rich isn't the problem, right? Like we're all doing this to become wealthy, right? Like, I mean, that is kind of part of this. The problem is when you work on everything else but the business building part. And so what are the right things to be working on, especially now that we're in this kind of environment where it really matters, so that our success outpaces the average agent, right? Because what we want to do is outpace average. And so here's a quick list of 7 that I wrote down from last week because I loved how simple this was. It's a cheat sheet that any one of us could do. So number 1 was increase your dialogue mastery to be able to communicate effectively, right? You do this through scripting with other agents, studying the scripts your team has, learning from Place Academy, right? It's not just like, I just chant some scripts, it's increasing your dialogue mastery. Like that's what you're actually after. And the reason for it is so that you can communicate effectively with leads and with prospects and with clients. And also, by the way, the other agents, right, who are involved. Number 2 was prospect and business build to find the motivated, right? So we do this often through just listed or just sold circle prospecting. Maybe for you it's expireds, maybe for you it's for sell by owners, maybe for you it's open houses, maybe for you it's networking, maybe for you it's teaching buyer and seller seminars, right? The sky's the limit on how you want to build your business, but you gotta business build to find the motivated. Number 3 is follow up to educate the motivated, right? The purpose of follow up is not just checking in to like be a good person. Purpose of follow up is adding value to the relationships that you are nurturing. And so waiting for someone to raise their hand is very transactional, right? So make it a goal not to be a transactional agent. You want to be an agent who educates. Number 4 was manage your sales funnel to generate appointments, right? We have it so easy here because we can do all of that in Brivity. It's like the Brivity Daily 10. Nothing else really needed because we can manage our entire sales funnel through that. Number 5 was market to stay top of mind, right? This is done through your social media. Maybe you do it through your pop buys. Maybe you do it through your newsletters. Again, the sky's the limit. You just have to be consistent. Number 6 that is important is prepare for appointments to deliver great value. The whole purpose of preparing is so that you're able to deliver great value. It's done through knowing your market stats, knowing your buyer and seller presentations to set the correct expectations so that the client understands how we can win together. And the last one that's important in business building is go on appointments to sign an exclusive agreement. Go on enough appointments to hit your goals. And if you're not going on enough appointments, it's probably one of 2 things. It's either a lack of real estate conversations, which you can improve, or it might be a lack of skill. And sometimes that lack of skill can also be a lack of confidence, right? So work with your leader and identify what is it that's keeping me from going on enough appointments to hit my goals for the year. Get ahead of it. It's only May. So the rest is like the fun part. The showing homes, the getting homes on the market, negotiating deals, right? Like celebrating those wins, right? Receiving reviews and referrals. Like that's the fun part of real estate. And all of that is a direct result of these 7 things that we get to work on. So that I love how simple that was, right? Increase dialogue, mastery, prospect and business build, follow up to educate, manage your sales funnel, market to stay top of mind, prepare for your appointments to deliver that great value, go on those appointments to sign an exclusive agreement. That is real estate in a nutshell. If you think it's something else, you may not be getting to the result that you're wanting to get, right? So be careful working on the things that are not in the right order, right? Often in this environment with so many changes in the industry and in the market, I like find myself like sometimes getting upset with my agents, right? That they're not doing what they need to do, blah, 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 blah. And I'm reminded it's not the market and it's not my agents. Guess who it is? It's me. It's always me. If I say I'm the CEO, then it's always going to be me, right? My job as a CEO is to make sure that they get there faster. How? Through accountability and training and inspecting what we expect, because I can't control people. Neither can you, by the way. I can control the controllables, right? I can control how we do accountability. I can control our training. I can control what we inspect and what we expect. Now, flip side of that, guess what? You are the CEO of your business. Your job as the CEO of your business is to make sure your people get there faster, right? It's not the clients, it's not the market, it's you. Like you get to have the ability to change that trajectory of your business. Your people are your clients. So what routines do you need to implement to become consistent? What skills do you need to improve to help your clients better? What training do you need to master to generate the results that you want? What activities do you need to incorporate to create that success that you desire, right? You too control the controllables because you're the CEO of your business, which is really, really awesome. One of the takeaways I had was data of the industry. We have unprecedented opportunity right now as really strong teams. In fact, the agents on our team who are strong have unprecedented opportunity for themselves. I'm gonna give you some stats. In 2021, 51% of all transactions in the US involved the top 10% team. 51%. That was in 2021. I use this number 2021 because we had the most real estate sales ever. 2023, 38 teams broke 1,000 units sold. Just a few years ago, guys, there were no teams that were doing 1,000 sales in a year. Like this is a new thing. So what could the future look like? Most industry experts believe that it's possible that the top 10% of teams could control 75% of all the transactions in America. So based on that, we know that 50% of agents will look for any port in the coming storm. That's a huge opportunity as teams. What's even better is that you get to be the guiding light for these clients, which is really, really cool. So on that note, there's a lot of change happening, but we already have a blueprint. We already know what we can do, right? We have May and June, which is like a 60-day countdown before all of this kind of becomes really official. So tactically, what can we focus on the next 60 days to make those changes? Our skills, our buyer consultation, and the NAR DOJ explanation. So I'm going to jump in skills real quick. I'm not going to go over how to take a listing, right? Like there's training for that. I'm going to go over controlling the narrative, creating certainty, and increasing your authority score. Those were my favorite things I learned last week, and I liked how they presented it, and I want to share it with you. So controlling the narrative for ourselves and our clients. And here's the reason. When they did a poll, they realized that 1 out of 4 buyers believed prices would go down. 1 out of 4, that's 25% of our market believes that the prices are going to go down. There was another study that was done that said that motivated buyers spend 27 to 45 minutes a day. So motivated buyers are spending 27 to 45 minutes a day researching what's happening to the market right now. which is interesting because I don't know that we're doing that every day. And what are they researching? What are they looking at? Well, they're looking at all the headlines around interest rates, around the economy, around the NAR settlement, around affordability. And they're believing what's being said, right? Because they're just getting like hit with it. Why does this matter? It matters because when two people meet, you and your potential client, the one who has the most certainty will have the greatest influence over the other. So you've probably heard it as the person with the most passion wins, right? So how much certainty do you have right now? How much passion do you have right now? Where can you tap in to get more certainty, get more passion? Because the person with the passion, the person with the certainty will have the influence in the next coming months. If you're getting outscripted by your leads or by your clients, start practicing those scripts and those dialogues so that you can create positive change in your business. If knowledge equals confidence, then a lack of knowledge equals fear. So get off of the struggle bus that you might be on and just plug into scripts and dialogues on your team, plug into place, like plug into your team. Like the answers are already there for us. Another thing I loved last week was don't be a hypocrite, which was an interesting like conversation. If you say now's a great time to buy, what are you doing with each commission check? Like, are you saving it towards a down payment? If you believe in home ownership being a tool of wealth building, like, are you taking steps to become an investor one day, right? And the reason that that was important around the don't be a hypocrite conversation is people do business with people who are authentic. People do business with people who are authentic. It's the fastest way to increase your authority score. So speaking of authority score, people do business with people they respect. Agree? So authenticity becomes really, really important. You don't have to own a home to sell a home. Like that's not what I'm saying. That's not what anybody's saying. But you need to authentically take steps towards that so that your energy level for what you're saying to your clients matches your reality as well. So that like the energy and the vibration that you're giving off, which I know sounds really airy-fairy, but authenticity can be felt, and authenticity leads to higher authority. Authority is just another name for respect, by the way. So how do you increase your level of respect or your level of authority that someone gives you, right? Chris talks about this all the time, and you're going to hate when I say it because I hate when he says it sometimes. He says, be a promise keeper to yourself, right? But at the end of the day, there's something to it, right? When you keep promises that you made to yourself, what happens? You start believing in yourself. And when you believe in yourself, your self-esteem goes higher. And as a result, people around you respect you. So be a promise keeper to yourself, right? You increase your authority by engaging and staying plugged in so that you stay ahead, so you don't feel behind, right? You increase your authority by growing yourself and your skill set, right? And that's like the deep work that you do privately sometimes, right? The books you read, the classes you go to, the responsibility that you take on. The other part was the buyer consult, right? Not using a buyer consult right now is like the equivalent of jumping off of a plane without a parachute, right? Like nobody would do that. Be careful of that. We wouldn't walk into a listing appointment not prepared to show our value, not prepared to like talk about how we're going to handle commission, right? Hasn't fully clicked that we're going to do that as well on the buyer side. Why I'm bringing this up. On my team, for example, 64% of our business is buyers. I don't want 64% to go away. Whatever your number is for buyers, you don't want that to go away. So let's keep that portion of our business by skilling up. On that topic, cool thing that places all over it. Next Tuesday, May 7th, buyer consultation certification will be live. There's going to be an on-demand option for those of you who like to just plug in and just get it done in 1-2 days. But for those of you who like having the engagement of a group and asking questions, it'll be every Tuesday in May. Cool. It's new and improved for this market. So if you took it before, it's not the same thing. I've linked it in the slide deck so you can easily like get to it. Oh, we really linked it in the slide deck. I hope I can get off this page. Yeah. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about is the NAR settlement, the DOJ ruling that's upcoming. Here's why. Most agents know what's happening. Good agents understand what's happening. and great agents can clearly explain what's happening, right? The difference is knowing, understanding, clearly explaining. You're going to fit into one of those boxes. The choice is yours, whether you are most agents, good agents, or a great agent. Unilateral compensation is going to be done, right? All listings will offer 0 commission in the MLS. So an example of dialogues that I want to give you around that I heard that we'll be using, and of course your team may have their own dialogue. So awesome. I want to just give you an example. Mr. Seller, my marketing fee to sell your home is X%. We can expect buyers to bring us offers with a range of X% to X% in a buyer agent commission. We will also have unrepresented buyers who may want to make an offer on your home. And if our ultimate buyer is fully unrepresented, we run the risk that the 111 things that need to happen for a buyer to purchase your home won't happen in the correct sequence or not happen at all. And if this unrepresented buyer misses any one of those 111 steps, we risk the sale of your home. So should a buyer be unrepresented, I offer transactional services at X%. Like, figure out how you're going to handle the listing side, buyer agent, and unrepresented buyers. Do it on the front end. When explaining the settlement and the ruling and your value, remember that people are looking for proof, not promises, right? So find the proof in your business, like on the listing side, on the buyer side. And then one thing that I loved that he said is conversion only happens in conversation. And so now's the time to practice what to say, how to say it, so you can create certainty for others. Chris Heller said something really smart. He said, consumer behavior says that people want lots of choices. People want lots of choices. In this case, they want to see lots of homes. They don't want to see just 2 or 3. And they don't want to pay until they get what they want, which is why this industry has been a success fee at closing. At any point in the last 30 years, buyer agents and buyers could have paid their buyers agents differently. Sellers could have paid their listing agents differently. They did not want to. Consumer behavior doesn't work that way in America. They don't want to pay up front. Redfin tried it. They tried to charge $200 a door that they opened. And the consumer was like, yeah, no, after the 3rd one, they're not interested in that, right? So consumer behavior doesn't support that people want to pay stuff up front. And so people could have done any of this. What we do is we front our time, we front our resources, and we charge a success fee. So what we want to do is achieve educating the consumer on 2 things: the importance of representation and who represents you matters, right? And this is not the time for you to be quiet about it and be meek about it. This is the time for you to flex, because you are going to win. You are on a winning team, right? And so here's what I want to wrap with. And then I want to talk to Michael Flores in Houston on what he's doing for a few seconds. You will not be eliminated because of change, but because of your inability to pivot or adjust to that change. You will not be eliminated because of change, but because of your inability to pivot or adjust to that change. I have a few scripts when you click on this toolkit link of things that I got from the conference last week. So check it out. I'll put the slide deck here in a second. I want to jump over to Michael Flores. Where are you, Michael? Do I see you?
I'm right here.
Oh, there you are. Okay, I'm gonna spotlight you. Tell me, on the scripting front, for example, what are you guys doing in Houston right now? What are some things you're doing?
So back in January, we started scripting and practicing Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays.
Okay.
So each one of our members, I have a smaller team, so most of my people come in person, but you can do it via Zoom. We do have some people join us via Zoom.
Okay.
And so on Monday, we write the script 5 times, and then we chant it 5 times, and we just take people off of mute on Zoom. We just ask them to come off of mute and they chant with us.
Okay.
And then on Tuesday, we chanted more, and then we role play it. And then on Wednesday, we role play it a little bit more. And then usually I'll take the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes of Wednesday to teach them something about the industry that's happened, some kind of market information to give them so that they have it moving forward. And then on top of that, each agent on their team They have a role play partner, and they, on their own time, whenever they choose, 15 minutes every day, Monday through Friday, they do script practice.
Okay.
They police it. I don't have time to police that. So they police it. It's up to them to hold each other accountable. And we just kind of go with this as a team. And if you want each other to win, then you hold accountable to each other. And so they choose the script for that 15 minutes. It doesn't matter to me what they're practicing, whatever they feel like their business needs help with. It could be the new NAR stuff. It could be anything. So they do that around scripting.
Any particular scripts you guys are using? Is it like some like different resources? Like how robust are you going right now with scripting?
Yeah. So right now, I'll be honest, we're practicing our listing presentation because every coach in America is telling everybody to become a listing agent. I don't care what program they're part of. They're telling everybody, be a listing agent. Well, if all these people who are not typically listing agents become listing agents, then we need to be better at that. So because of that, we've started practicing our listing presentation again. However, before that, we started practicing some NAR dialogue that we got from Jeff Glover and Glover U.
Okay.
I'm going to put a link in the chat, and Jeff held a webinar for an hour and a half about these changes, and he put all kinds of scripts and stuff together. So we practiced those and we wrote those out, and we're continuing to do that. Once we get past the listing presentation, I found it was a weak point for us and we need to do that, and then we're going to go back to that. So
Okay. I love
but
what
that's
about,
what we're doing.
do you have any ideas that you're going to implement on updating your buyer process? Like what might that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to treat it like a listing process. So for right now, one of the things we're doing, like for instance, when we set an appointment, there are 5 things we do between the appointment set and the appointment done. Okay. And so I can outline those, or I can give them to you later, whatever you want to do based on time. And then we obviously have a pre-listing packet we send out. So why don't we ever send out a pre-buyer consultation packet? Well, we don't, right? That's not a thing. And so we're creating a pre-buyer consultation packet that we will send out. And then in addition to that, we're also creating, most people, we should be pre-qualifying every listing appointment, and I know we do. And so we're creating a dialogue and a script around pre-qualifying the buyer consultation, just to confirm it and then go through some questions like we do on pre-listing, on the listing, right? Before you go to the listing consultation, you also pre-qualify that. So we're doing that to make sure that we treat it just like a listing appointment, and we create value, right? If we're going to get people to pay for our value, then we're going to need to create that ahead of time before we even meet with them. And so we do that with listings. And get this, if buyers are going to have to pay for their agent, they're going to start interviewing more agents to decide who am I willing to pay for. And so because of that, we need to show value ahead of time and be the one that they choose because of that.
What are going to be your 5 things between appointment set to appointment gone on? Do you have any
Okay.
idea that's going to
Yeah, we do them already. So just going to do it for the same thing here.
Cool.
So they're simple, by the way. They're nothing earth shadowing. And I learned this from other agents, guys. I didn't make this up. Okay. None of this is made up. Calendar invite, obviously. And then immediately after the appointment, we send a calendar invite, it's set. And then we also do a video. So we do a quick video just saying, hey, this is the guy, this is Michael. Just wanted to say thank you for setting the appointment. By the way, look for an email. That email is going to have some information for you. And then I'll call you back later this week, or I'll call you back before the appointment. And then an email they send an email out. That email has 3 things. It has the pre-listing packet, or this will be the pre-buyer packet. It has our MLS link to show our stats, because the Houston Association of Realtors shows great stats about agents. So we send that. And then we'll send out some lender referrals in that email. Right now we send out contractor referrals, like, hey, if you need to work on your house, here's some people. And then the 4th thing we do is we call prior to the appointment just to ask a random question like, hey, have you talked to the lenders yet? Or do you have any questions about the process? And then of course we do the pre-qual listing presentation. So we're going to do the same thing for the buyer. So I can send it to you if you want, Adelina. I've already created the script, but they'll call on the day of in the morning or the night before and do a pre-qual of the buyer just to confirm the appointment and ask some additional questions. It'll also make our buyer consults be shorter because we won't have to ask so many questions because we've gone through it during the pre-qual, right? So during the call.
I love that. That's really good. I kind of outlined what you said, what I heard you say at least. I don't think my team has ever done the quick video part. I really like that, by the way. I can already see us implementing some of this. This is fabulous. As you are going through this, if you're finding things are working really well, would love to know. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to nail this because we're all collaborating together, right? Like this is not the time to be on a little independent streak or like a solo entrepreneur. This is the time to really like get together with people who are doing the same thing that you're doing and wanting to do the same things in the future. So Michael, this is awesome. I would actually love that. I'm happy to like shoot this out to everyone so we can all grow together. The more professional our industry becomes, the better it is for all of us, you guys. We've wanted professionalism forever. This is it. Like we
Right.
have an opportunity to be the professionals. So this is good. I love it. You're awesome. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you.
Sarissa, I saw your hand. Yes. Are you still on? I don't
Yeah,
know.
hi.
Okay.
Um,
Great.
Okay, so you had mentioned that, you know, obviously increasing our competence increases our confidence and that voice that you were talking about.
Oh, I like that so much better how you said it.
Well, I was just thinking about that. Like I've had some of the most competent agents over the years, and some of them never learned to use their voice. And so I think there is like, you could be the smartest agent, and if you never ask for the appointment, if you never ask for the agreement, if you never can project that confidence, you could be the smartest person in the world, have all the competence in the world, and yet like it may not translate into confidence or into like what I forget what word you use, but just that voice or the authoritative voice. And just remember, like people are hiring you because they want an expert. They want somebody with an authoritative voice. And so some of us need to learn to use that. And that is a skill that can be developed. It doesn't just because you are more quiet or reserved or whatever, like doesn't mean that you cannot grow in this area. So yeah, I would just encourage those of you, and as leaders, like we might point out to you, hey, like let's learn to use that voice. And it's not because it's because we see something in you. And so just like maybe even encourage your teammates, hey, say that stronger, say that with more confidence. Let's try that one more time. Tweak it just a little bit. And so that's something that all of us can learn to improve on. That was just one thing I thought about, is like it doesn't always just translate. And then secondly, Adelina, I know you and I both commented in Gary Keller's mastermind on Ken Posick's post, but he has 70% buyers, guys. Like their team is 70% buyers. Some of y'all's businesses are 70, 80% buyers. And he was realizing, holy crap, if we don't get this skill down, then like we're just going to be like bulldozed, right? Like some of our agents are going to be bulldozed because they're not getting those agreements like we would on a listing. Like on a listing, you don't go on an appointment or like start chatting with somebody and never ask for the actual appointment and never send the listing agreement and go over it. Like you wouldn't do that. And we're going to have to do that for buyers. We are going to have to treat it like a listing, and we are going to have to ask for the commitments. So I love, they did a contest on their team and got 108 or 103 agreements signed for buyers within like a 3-week or 4-week window. I was just like, holy crap. Like, and I'm not looking at it, but like, it just goes to show you just have to switch a little bit there to get the agreement signed. So yeah, I think that's a cool skill that we all get to develop, and we shouldn't be shy about it.
So you're so right, because like, well, sometimes it feels like, oh, we're gonna have to make these massive changes, right? But remember, like small hinges, right, swing big doors. It's the small things that end up being important. Let me, I know exactly what you're talking about, Sarissa. Okay, I didn't have this plan, but I'll read it off because I asked Sarissa and I asked what were some of these scripts, Ken? So Ken, if you don't know Ken, he's in Orlando, Florida, and I think yes, it is Orlando. 70% buyer based. Now they sell like 500 homes, guys. Like I'm not talking like, okay, 70% and we sell 10 homes. Like that's great, but like as a team, that would be horrible. And so they like signed like 100 plus like new buyers in the like last month, right? Like it was crazy. They were getting ahead of it. And he said, first off, we started with clients who we are already working with us because we could get easy buy-in. We didn't even mention the lawsuit. The script was, Mr. or Mr. Buyer, we've been working together for 2 to 3 weeks. Would you say that I'm living up to your expectations based on our initial purchase consult? Good. Well, I wanted to chat with you about the next logical step in the process, which is committing to each other in your home shopping journey. Here's what that looks like. We have a buyer agreement, much like a seller who agrees to work with only one listing agent. You'd agree to partner with me for 180 days in order to get you to your goals of home ownership. Do you see any reason we wouldn't continue working together? Great, I'll DocuSign you over the agreement. Let's continue the conversation if you have any questions. 9 out of 10 just signed it. And then there were harder conversations, which were with those brand new leads, right? He said, we really had to dial in our buyer consult to explain why we use a buyer broker agreement, our value, and how we get paid. We've been introducing, we get paid 3 different ways. Can I explain? Either the listing agent is going to pay our entire fee, the seller is going to contribute up to 3% towards closing costs to offset our fee, or you'll be covering our fee at closing. And sometimes it could be a combination of all 3, any of which are fine. Does that make sense? And then for the 5% of people, they tracked this, and 5% of people did mention the lawsuit. They said, really not much has changed. Instead of commissions being listed in the MLS, they're negotiated with the buyer, the seller, and the listing agent in order to meet our minimum commission. You still get the same amazing service. It just looks different on paper. So that was like, I love that because that was a case study of, 100 plus buyer broker agreements being signed in 1 month, which is a big data pool. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll screenshot all this to you guys in an email right after this, so that if you want to use any part of this, you're welcome to, right? And this is all a moving target, guys. Here's what we know. We know things are changing. That is 100%. If your head has been in the sand, or you've been like, oh, I hope everything goes back to normal, absolutely freaking not. It's not going back to normal. Like that is a certainty. The second Berkshire Hathaway decided to settle, like that should have been an indicator to you that if Warren Buffett's company is settling, like the path forward has 100% changed. Like there is no going backwards. That now it's just like, hopefully we get this as smooth as possible on the other side. So now that we know things are changing, things are a moving target. You can either decide, I'm not doing anything until I know for certain like what it's supposed to look like, but you'll be behind everyone else because everyone else is going to get good at this by just kind of trial and error. Like what works for Alex may not work for Leah, and what works for Leah might not work for Cindy. But guess what? If we do enough of it, we will figure it out in the next coming weeks. It's not going to take a whole year to figure this out. You guys are amazing. I'm going to go ahead and send out a bunch of stuff. And then use whatever you want. The important thing is get into action. This is the time to get into action. This is not the time to be like, oh, I'm not sure that I really want to do this. And be on Brendon Burchard's Don't Quit next Wednesday, May 8th. If you are thinking of quitting, you should definitely be on there. But your opportunity is so great in this industry, you guys. Like everybody could quit in this industry and you'd be left. And that's not a bad thing either, right? Do people still need to buy and sell? Absolutely. They're going to need to buy and sell, and they are going to want an expert. Back to Sarissa's point, people want to work with an expert. Cool. All right. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Adelina, I put that thing in the chat box for you. I put the buyer thing in there for you.
Totally saw that, and I'm going to put it for everybody.
And I put the link for that YouTube, but if you click on that link, it also has a link to scripts.
You're amazing.
You don't have to watch the whole video to get to the scripts. There's a workbook he created in there, and it has a bunch of scripts in there.
I love it. You're the best. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Have a good one.